If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others. Thank you.
It's the end of the week. It's Friday. The weekend is nigh. Football is back, and the AM Drive is live once again. Aaron Crouch, what is up, big dude?
Oh, it's end of most people's work week, but I am sitting here having my coffee, and my wife has gotten me turned on to these little syrups for the coffee that's made it a game changer. And actually, if 12-ounce the brass, if you're listening, I need me a sweet 12-ounce mug so I can pimp the network.
You know, I was this close to buying a polo. I might do that today, actually.
I have polos.
Really?
I have polos. I have 3 polos from 12-ounce. One of them they gave me, and 2 of them I bought. El Jefe, I need a mug now.
Okay, question. Have you I forgot. I was gonna say something cool about 12 ounce and I forgot. Anyways. But hey, it's 7 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. On the east side, it's 10 a.m. Eastern, and we're live either way. Even if you're in Chicago, was it like 9? I forget. Anyways,
I got this for you, by the way. I meant to wear this for you.
As much as I despise them cheating in 2018, I'll take that. It's Big Poppy and Josh Beckett have a place in my heart. So does Dice K.
Dice K.
Dice K Metz oh, come on. Papelbon, let me shut up. Okay, let me get to this. Kevin Youkilis, okay, I'm good. Okay, so I was watching the Hall of Fame game last night, which we'll get to in our next segment. And it kind of hit me hard because it's officially the end of Peyton Manning as a Colt, as a football player, because he's now being immortalized into football eternity, the Hall of Fame. My first ever game I really picked, I was a mere, 12, 13, I don't know how old I was, but in 2007, when the Colts played the Bears in the Super Bowl, I'd watched football games before, but I really picked this one because I said, that's a blue team, and I like blue. So I chose the Colts, and boy, I fell in love with Peyton Manning. It's part of the reason why I don't like Tom Brady, because I grew to hate the rivalry, as most Colts fans should, despite us not being a very passionate fan base outside of Indianapolis. So in case you were wondering how this Georgia boy who was born in Virginia likes the Colts, now you know. But what is so special about this moment? Peyton was such an awesome figure for football and the pop culture of it all. I will say this, though. If he ever talks that long-winded on Monday Night Football with Eli, I'm going to cry because I'm expecting those two to be really good together. And ESPN's got a great gem there. But if that dude won't shut up like he was last night, I might grow to hate him after retirement. But thank you, Peyton, for all you did. It was awesome watching you play and watching you Omaha. But yeah. And your thoughts on Peyton Manning?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to Peyton for being a little bit of a choke artist in the playoffs. Much obliged, allowing Tom Brady to win 6 Super Bowls during his time in the AFC. Peyton Manning, you are one of the top quarterbacks of all time, but I will never, ever consider you the greatest.
It's okay. Some people do, and those people are weird. That segment
12 is greater than 18, and I ain't talking about Aaron Rodgers.
What, golf? He's a golf guy, folks. Leave him alone.
No, I'm saying number 12. Number 12.
Oh my gosh! Now there are better quarterbacks who have worn 12. I think Peyton's the only one I can think of off the top that's worn 18. That's a notable name. I mean, give me anything else. So that was presented by Buttercloth, and today I definitely am #VerySoft. For Peyton Manning, that's not weird at all. Aaron has a Buttercloth shirt coming in, and hopefully Monday it comes. Hopefully sometime next week we'll be able to see that on the show. But shout out our people at Buttercloth. I love their commercial that they give us, by the way. Well, that Aaron found. That's pretty funny. Anyways, that was brought to you by Buttercloth. Don't forget you can follow the AM Drive on Twitter, AM Drive 120Z, Instagram, AM Drive on 120Z. Like us on Facebook because you don't just like us, you love us. So liking us will not be that hard. AM Drive 120Z, the username. And also on Twitter, just like we have with 6 baskets, 1 something. I forgot what their name was.
6 balls, 1 basket. Congratulations for
did you
winning
order
that
the Vice Golf hat?
Yeah, I got in contact with Vice Golf, and they sent it out, and so we're all good.
I ordered a Vice Golf hat, too. I've ordered the black and orange one.
Yeah, so we got with I won't reveal his real name. We got with 6 balls, 1 basket on the Twitter DMs, and we got him in connection with Vice Golf, and yeah, he ended up going with the blue snapback.
Oh, okay. Well, at least I'm different then. I hope that we both didn't buy the same thing there. That's cool. We're having another giveaway on Twitter at 500 followers. Aaron, I believe we're doing an NFL t-shirt of somebody's choice on Fanatics.
Yeah, so 500 followers will be a NFL shirt.
Like this one.
Brought to you by Fanatics, just as he's wearing there. I do like the Hall of Fame patch. I mean, no disrespect. All love for Peyton Manning. He is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and it does suck that he caught some bad breaks, but you know, somebody's got to be on that side. Yeah, the Fanatics shirt is going to be the 500 follower giveaway. The 1,000 follower giveaway, stay tuned. That's TBD. And the 5K giveaway will definitely be TBD. If we get 5K here at least by the end of the year, or whenever we do, we have to do a big giveaway here. So I'm
thinking cash got to be involved with the 5,000 somehow, some way.
No cash.
Gift cards, come on.
We'll get you something. I think the 500 follow, or excuse me, the $1,000 or 1,000 follower giveaway might be a Buttercloth shirt.
Ooh. Well, we'll leave that alone. A nice little tease there for the Buttercloth. By the way, this thing right here, I want to say shout out to Fanatics. I did not read the description because I never read descriptions on shirts for some reason. It's not only a nice feel. It feels like a Nike shirt, but it's not a Nike shirt. But the way like they stitched this in here is like a 3D feel to it. So if you're feeling myself, it's not me being cocky. It's me like, I love this shirt. That's my first time wearing it. Anyways, Aaron,
okay.
We want to talk about the end of an era here. Soccer legend Lionel Messi is leaving Barcelona. Aaron, you're reading up about that before the show. Tell us what you know and what you've seen and heard.
Yeah, so it's a strange situation here because, you know, it's not the breaking up of the band between Lionel Messi and Barcelona because of differences or because one side's angry at the other or both sides angry at each other. It's financial obstacles.
I knew it.
Barcelona can't sell off enough salary to keep a Lionel Messi, even a reduced salaried Lionel Messi at this point. Messi's 34 years old. He's been a free agent since July when the contract expired. And it's just really weird to see. You kind of, especially in sports or in the world's biggest sport, you kind of like to see consistencies with, you know, Ronaldo. We saw all the big thing when Neymar moved. You know, that was such a big, colossal news story. And the fact that this is happening.
This one's bigger.
It's way bigger. Like take Tom Brady moving to the Bucs if you're not a soccer fan or a football fan. Take Tom Brady moving to Tampa Bay and multiply it by 1 million.
Yep.
Billion maybe. And then you've got the amount of eyeballs watching this story. It's just incredible. 21 years with one team. And he actually signed a new deal, but La Liga has nixed that. And
so, nah, you good. This is where the Chris Paul you're sorry behind.
Yeah, so it's just I think I don't know if this is a story that becomes like juicy intense, but I tell you what becomes the story now is you've got the world's biggest free agent on the market. Yeah,
hey, that's a good take. World's biggest free agent. I have nothing to add to that. Lionel Messi's the GOAT. He might be Ronaldo's son, but we're gonna leave it alone. So when we come back, Aaron's gonna bring it in, and we're gonna talk U.S. Hoops and Hall of Fame and the betting baseball Bears. We right back. This is the AM Drive live.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
Just how soft is a buttercloth shirt?
Ooh.
Made from 100% long fiber eco-friendly cotton. It's silky smooth with incredible 6-way stretch.
I know, buddy.
Buttercloth, the softest shirt in the world.
Mike and Aaron are just like you. They love sports, so they shop at Fanatics, which has merchandise for teams like the new Seattle Kraken. Every day features a new special. Before you shop, www.12ouncesportsradio.com/AM Drive sponsors. And click the Fanatics logo. AM Drive is a proud Fanatics affiliate. Do you like online shopping? Jeff Bezos made online shopping better with Amazon. You can buy batteries, get a TV, even purchase your favorite soda. But wait, do you like sports talk? Jeff Beck made sports talk better with 12 Ounce Sports. Next time you use Amazon, use www.12ouncesportsradio.com/Amazon. Sign in and get shopping. It costs you nothing and helps us. That's www.12ouncesportsradio.com/Amazon. Thanks.
All right, and welcome back to the AM Drive here with Mike and Aaron on 12 Ounce Sports. We are sponsored by the logo in the corner, Fanatics. Look at Mike, Peyton Manning Hall of Fame shirt from Fanatics. It looks pretty smooth, and he's already been touching himself on the show this morning. So I guess you can too. If you're looking for gear, that gets the sports fans in your life covered. Well, Fanatics has got you taken care of. Every team, every league, they got the apparel, merchandise, and memorabilia to ensure that you and yours are showing your team pride each and every game day. We are proud sponsored affiliates of Fanatics.com. So please use our special promotional link when you shop for your products. Visit 12ozsportsradio.com/AM Drive sponsors today, or email us at amdrive12oz, or excuse me, 12ounce amdrive@gmail.com, and we will happily provide you the dedicated link. Thank you for your support, and pick up your gear at Fanatics today.
So I was going to say, if you're ordering on Twitter, our Twitter page, amdrive12oz, actually click the link tree. It's actually a quicker way to get to the Fanatics link. Just to let you guys know, Aaron set that up pretty nicely.
Yeah, the link tree is set up on the Twitter and the Instagram
and YouTube.
And the YouTube page as well, which we need to get more active on the YouTube page. I do.
My bad.
Also, guys, you should have checked it out. If you haven't yet, you can go back and do it. We had a midnight drive, I believe, on Monday.
That was lit.
And I know Mike says in our live show, keep the cussing down, but shit got weird.
That was bad.
That was weird.
I shout to them doctors though.
Yeah, whoever that was, if that was,
it was great.
It was incredible. I didn't love the way the trend that the midnight drive was going. So I think they definitely made it a lot better. I can tell you that.
That was rough. Yeah.
But once a week we will tweet out when we do the midnight drive. But also right now, if you want to get engaged with us, jump on Twitter, watch us on the 12 Ounce Sports Twitter, and jump in the chat. Give us a little bit of love here, and we will engage with you guys during the show. We'll talk about it. We have an outline, but if anybody wants to give us some more stuff to talk about, we definitely will do that as well. Also, we've got Tony Johnson coming up in the third segment talking NFL, and now we're going to talk about USA men's and women's basketball.
Yep.
Now, men's basketball, Mike. We all panicked when they lost to France, and they lost to Australia, and they lost to Nigeria. But here they are playing for gold, and Kevin Durant looks like the best player on the planet right now.
That's crazy. Like, shout out Luka Doncic, by the way. This would have been a USA versus Slovenia game, which is crazy to think about. But France was able to edge Luka and the Slovenians.
By 1 point.
Luka actually hurt his wrist and his elbow. Like, his elbow was bleeding apparently in that game. I didn't see it. Man had 18 assists, 10 points, and 15 boards. It was actually the third ever Olympic triple-double for Luka. For a player. It was a Russian in the 70s, LeBron in 2012, and Luka. So I think Luka's in pretty elite company there. As for Kevin Durant, shout out to Popovich really for making this thing gel. I know what people are saying. Oh, it's hard to lose when you got this good of a team. And I agree, especially in the Olympics. However, Nigeria played them pretty well. And you see when you're a unit that gels together, it works a lot better than people think it does. But that's why the Miami Heat were able to play well in the bubble. That's why the Lakers won in the bubble, because they were together. And I think that's huge in the Olympics too. And apparently these guys, put egos aside. I'm talking to you, Bam.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to in this spot. If you're not really playing for large paydays or anything like that, you're literally playing for the pride of the country. But if you're Team USA men's basketball, and at this point you're at women's basketball too, going for their 7th straight gold, I think you're almost playing where gold is the only option. I mean, we talk about this. We talked about this when they lost to France, when they lost their exhibition games. Like, you've got professional players. Gold is the only option. You're the best team by far. I mean, the sports books had you at anywhere from -600 to -1,000.
Oh my God!
Before that loss to France in the first game, which ironically you're going to get a chance here in the gold medal game to avenge that loss. I loved it because after losing to Nigeria, losing to Australia, and then losing to France, they went down to -225. So let's go.
God
USA.
Almighty!
Let's go USA.
I do want to see a shout out to the women as well. Now for years, the women obviously have had a huge advantage because obviously their game is not as global as the men's game, I would think is, but they are still incredibly talented. WNBA has been great this year. They have advertised it and has been pretty good this year. As for the gold medal stuff, I agree with you on that one because it's almost like the gold becomes plastic after a while. It's so normal to see at least the basketball teams get it. It's like it's gold or bust, and that gold better be. It's an incredible thing to think about how impressive they are, especially at basketball. There's a few other sports too, but basketball is one of the ones. And shout out, by the way, Simone Biles. We talked about her earlier in the week and earlier last week, I believe, too. She won a bronze medal.
Yeah.
So apparently that wasn't that big of a deal, maybe? I don't know.
I think the bronze medal, and I want to touch on something else here. The bronze medal for Simone Biles is a very polarizing situation because she came back for the individual events, and it's created an issue with people who said, well, you bailed on the team, but you came back for the individual events. I don't know. I don't really have an opinion on that. Good for her.
Right.
It adds to the medal count for Team USA, which is really all I care about. I love the golds, but the total medals is also good for me too. Also, the other polarizing situation here now is the U.S. women's national soccer team.
Oh yeah, wow!
Not getting the gold and only getting bronze. It sparked a tweet from Donald Trump, which of course is like the least polarizing figure in the world.
Junior or Trump?
No, Donald Trump.
He's back?
He's never left, man.
I thought they got rid of his Twitter account.
Maybe it wasn't a tweet. Maybe he just.
It was Facebook. I don't know.
Anyways, so the point being is I'm not really trying to get into that whole thing. I'm just saying that, here's a situation where I don't love the fact, regardless of what side you're on, I don't love the fact that there's people in this country actively rooting against their own country. I don't love the kneeling thing, but at the same time, I'm not going to be like, hey, USA, go out there and, screw up. It's a weird thing to me. I don't love the polarization in this, and if you got to be damn sure that I'm not rooting against my country to take anything less than gold. But the women's, I want to go back to women's basketball here, get it back on track, get back on the field, as you like to say. Are the women's U.S. basketball team, are they more dominant in their respective gender sport than the men are?
I would say yes, because like I said, women's basketball, to my knowledge, and I think it's pretty decent knowledge, it's more popular in the U.S. because I see the way that they're destroying teams. I mean, 7 straight goals, I get like it's impressive and all, but at least the men have a Slovenia, Luka Doncic. At least the men have a France and Argentina and Australia powerhouses. I don't see that from the women. Like in the first quarter, they're up by 20, I believe, last night in the silver game. Like,
well, they
wow.
won by 20. Yeah, they won by 20 last night. So,
but I think the first quarter they were up by 20. And they kind of just screwed around for the last 3 quarters. It was unreal.
The reason I asked about it is because the U.S. women's team have won 54 consecutive Olympic games. They haven't lost.
Oh my God!
You've been alive, and the U.S. women's team have not lost an Olympic game.
That's crazy.
1992.
Well, I know.
In Barcelona, ironically.
Right.
So that's why I asked that, because it just feels like they seem so much more dominant in theirs, despite the fact that we know the U.S. as a whole is dominant to a degree in men's basketball.
Yeah. Oh, well.
All right, so let's. You've got it up on the screen. Baseball betting bears, the bad news bears, as they've been referred to lately after selling off all their pieces here of the title run. It's crazy to think, the Cubs won the World Series after 108 years, and nobody.
Great game, by the way.
Almost nobody from that team is still there anymore. 5 years later, so.
Right.
I kind of liken it to the Vegas Golden Knights here. They only have like 2 or 3 guys from the expansion team still on the roster, and it almost feels like you've turned over a new leaf. But anyways, we're talking about the Cubs here. Last September, they unveiled plans to partner with DraftKings to produce a sports book, one in the stadium and one right around there in Wrigley Field. And it looks like that we're moving forward with those plans.
Wow.
I love everything about this as a sports bettor. I love the fact that sports betting is becoming nationwide and sports betting is becoming mainstream. Now, with the Evander Kane stuff we talked about last week, or was that early Monday, it puts a black eye on sports betting, which is an unfortunate 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
To see things like this, to have a DraftKings sportsbook. Hopefully, maybe some other ones get in there. I love sports betting being nationwide. I also love competition. And right now, DraftKings and FanDuel are blowing away the competition in places not named Las Vegas. So your thoughts on sports gambling and your thoughts on it becoming more prevalent in and near stadiums?
So I'm not a gambling guy really. I try to stay away from that. However, it is huge to think that the Cubs are. I guess this is the first instance of this, like a major sports team doing this. Am I correct in saying that?
Doing what specifically?
Like just building a sports book outside their stadium?
No. There's outside maybe, but there's inside of where the Devils play and where the Sixers play. There's sports books inside the stadium, and I think Denver Mile High is getting one like a lounge where there's going to be sports betting. Invesco Field. So
that makes for live, especially the live bets, in-game bets are huge.
I think the one inside Denver is only going to be for Denver football games.
Right.
Like, as far as the in-play. You can bet on other things.
A Vander Kane situation, it's like the refs in the NBA years ago. It's like eventually money is I don't want to say the root of all evil over here, but if money situations is a problem with sports betting sometimes. And unfortunately, you probably will see more instances of that, I would think. But it's good for sports in general because let's face it, for years they've done this, and why not just run with it? Make the money that you can, let the fans make money, let the fans have more debates as if we needed any more of those. It's a good thing for sports. I agree.
Yeah, speaking of a good thing for sports, Dwayne Haskins leading the Steelers to a touchdown. Did you watch the Hall of Fame game?
I watched almost the entire thing. I kind of cut it off in the mid-fourth quarter. But I got to see Dwayne Haskins. First of all, he's the same guy. He's just an average quarterback at best. He's better than Mason Rudolph, okay? If that's good for Steelers fans, he's better than Mason Rudolph. Because that dude is trash.
I think their eggs are still in the Ben Roethlisberger basket this year. So
I think Big Ben is going to do well this year. I really do. His teammates dropped passes last year. We were talking about that thing in the AFC North segment with Tony. But it was a good game. I want to say that. And I feel like the Cowboys, God Almighty, they still cannot stop a nosebleed on the run defense. I don't care if it was just a simple little pickup game. It was bad. Najee Harris opened up the game. I do like Najee Harris, but he was plowing people early. It was a good game. It was fun. It was good to have football back. But there's still some holes. But there was some good stuff last night, too.
Yeah, I didn't watch it at all. I don't think I've ever watched a Hall of Fame game, to be honest with you.
I didn't watch many.
I don't really have anything to add to this. But speaking of the Hall of Fame, I think this is maybe one of the best classes I have ever seen in recent memory. I mean, you're talking about Peyton Manning, Calvin Johnson, one of the greatest wide receivers all time.
Huge.
Top 5 wide receiver, in my opinion.
Charles Woodson, right?
Charles Woodson got in of the Raiders and the Packers.
John Lynch.
John Lynch, one of my favorite football players of all time growing up in Tampa. Dude just murdered
Great
people.
GM.
So far, yes. But dude murdered people when murdering was cool. Now he would never survive in this league. Alan Faneca, an all-pro guard. And Drew Pearson finally gets in. Good for Drew Pearson, wide receiver of the Cowboys. Also, Tom
the Hail Mary, right?
Yes, the co-inventor of the Hail Mary in that spot. Drew Pearson, long since been needed to be in the Hall of Fame. Tom Flores and Bill Nunn, a scout from the Steelers. Congratulations to all of them who were technically the 2020 class being inducted because of the COVID era.
Snubbed.
In 2021, yeah.
Jimmy Johnson, I believe, as well. Coach of the Cowboys.
Jimmy Johnson is part of the 2020. I was going to say
congratulations so sad
to the 2020 class for being inducted during the COVID era in 2021 as well. We can go over those real quick because we got a couple seconds here. Atwaters, Isaac Bruce, Harold Carmichael, Jim Covert, Bobby Dillon, Cliff Harris, Winston Hill, Steve Hutchinson, Edgerrin James, iffy, Alex Karras, Troy Polamalu, Donnie Shell, Duke Slater, Max Speedian, Ed Sprinkle, Bill Cowher, Jimmy Johnson, George Young, Steve Sable and Paul Tagliabue, the old commish.
2021 was better. Sorry. It's their moment. Let's leave them alone. Aaron, you want to take us to the break?
I can take us to the break. On the other side, we are talking to Tony Johnson, formerly of Vegas Squares fame, to preview the AFC and NFC North. So stick and stay on the other side of this commercial. We'll be back talking Browns, Ravens, Steelers, Bengals, and that garbage that is the NFC North, Lou.
Welcome to MyBookie. You're ready to create an account and start making money, and we're here to help. And remember, you can get a bonus of up to $1,000 on your first deposit. Now you're ready to bet. Just go to mybookie.ag, visit the sportsbook, click on your bet, and input the amount you want to risk or win in the bet slip. Yes, it's that easy. Just remember, at MyBookie, you play, you win, you get paid.
Hey, buddy.
Hey. Just how soft is a buttercloth shirt?
Ooh.
Made from 100% long fiber eco-friendly cotton. It's silky smooth with incredible 6-way stretch.
I know, buddy.
Buttercloth, the softest shirt in the world.
Mike and Aaron are just like you. They love sports, so they shop at Fanatics, which has merchandise for teams like the new Seattle Kraken. Every day features a new special. Before you shop, www.12ouncesportsradio.com/AM Drive sponsors. And click the Fanatics logo. AM Drive is a proud Fanatics affiliate. Do you like online shopping? Jeff Bezos made online shopping better with Amazon. You can buy batteries, get a TV, even purchase your favorite soda. But wait, do you like sports talk? Jeff Beck made sports talk better with 12 Ounce Sports. Next time you use Amazon, use www.12ouncesportsradio.com/Amazon. Sign in and get shopping. It costs you nothing and helps us. That's www.12ouncesportsradio.com/Amazon. Thanks.
All right, and welcome back to the AM Drive with Mike and Aaron, presented by 12 Ounce Sports. We are live here on the 12 Ounce Sports Twitter, the 12 Ounce Sports Facebook. Where else are we live at here, Mike? I can't think of all the places. Zingo TV, channel 761. We're on Periscope. We're on Twitch. If you've got it, we're on it. Also, that Vice Golf commercial, Mike, that thing slaps. I love the beat on that thing. That is a hell of a commercial. Vice Golf, they have been rapidly changing the game. Very simple. They sell premium golf balls right over the internet and ship them directly to you for a lot less expensive than Pro V1s, TP5s, the Bridgestones, or anything else like that. Please visit AM Drive sponsorship page on 120csportsradio.com/AM Drive sponsors today. Click the Vice Golf logo, get to shopping. Congratulations again to 6 Balls, 1 Basket on their giveaway win. They won a free Vice Golf hat. It is en route to their house right now. So again, congratulations. We're doing another giveaway at 500 followers from Fanatics and another giveaway at 1,000 followers from our newest sponsor, Buttercloth. And speaking of Vice Golf, they were one of the OG Vegas Square sponsors, and we've got a Vegas Square, apparently Mike's favorite Vegas Square in the house, Mr. Tony Johnson. What's going on, brother?
Not too much. That's the best welcome I can see. I figured it'd be you, Aaron, but it's nice to be respected by Mike as number one, so we'll take it.
It's funny. The first thing when Mike and I started this show and everything, kind of was in its infancy stage, he goes, you know what? I don't care if it's golf or football, but Tony Johnson has to make an appearance in our first month. And here you are.
There it is. It worked out. It's great to be here, guys. I've been following along as much as I can. It's a little early in the morning here for me to catch you live, but I'll at least get to the podcasts and the replays, and it looks like it's going along pretty well for you guys to start out.
Yeah, most definitely. Now, for those of you who weren't around in the Vegas Squares iteration, Tony does bet on sports by trade, so it's definitely a great thing to have him on, but he knows his football. And you are going to start a little something of your own here on the YouTube channel, talking gambling, most notably on football, or give us a little bit of a breakdown on what you're going to be doing here to help people make money.
Absolutely. YouTube. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I had a collaborator, a professional bettor in Brazil, who had to pull out. Unfortunately, he had some family issues. Long time. He's come back to the United States actually here. So that's why I'm a little bit delayed in getting it all started. So it's just going to be my own venture at this current point. But yeah, as you said it, Aaron, just going to be mostly football focused and the stuff that a lot of people don't talk about. So things like the player props. I know we talk about, of course, on the Vegas Square spot, but I know most people tend to focus on, just the general teams and point spreads, things like that. But we're going to go into a lot of the other stuff, some of the player prop stuff, and definitely into the futures market too, especially as the weeks go on as well. I think there's a lot that can be had in those futures markets, not just for teams, but again, for players as well. Things like MVP and offensive player of the year, coaches, things along those lines. I think there's some spots here, and as you guys were talking about, earlier, as this really expands into more states and becomes much more of a nationwide deal, people are now betting right in the stadium that they're sitting in. Beer in one hand, phone in the other. I think it's just the way to go, and it's a lot more, I think, fun in that sense. Betting on players and things like that, I think can actually not only just yield better results, but I think it's a lot more fun, following, your favorite players, not just the teams.
It's funny, Mike, speaking of Vice and Vice Golf, beer in one hand, betting in the other. That's two of my biggest vices, I got to say.
Wow. Tony, I was going to ask you real quick before we get into our divisional talk here. You obviously, like we discussed, are a big-time betting by trade guy. What is the caution and what is the benefits of those? I don't want you to just hype up on or degrade it, but tell the people what it's like to be in that lifestyle.
I would say avoid it if you're in between. What are those deals that you're either all in, or you're out? So that the best thing I can say to people that, I've had a couple of people talk to me about wanting to bet, more seriously or take it seriously or bet more, do whatever the case is To me, the success rate, if you really are trying to make money at it and it be a successful endeavor, it's just like any industry. It takes a lot of time, a lot of effort. You guys developing your own show, all the time and effort and resources it takes for that. It's the exact same thing. It's like any sort of business. I would say the other thing you have to be prepared to do is to, understand and take the highs and the lows. You're going to have weeks where, you have everything set up well, you figured out a lot of stuff, and the ball bounces the wrong way a couple of different times. The touchdown pass is dropped at the end of the game, and you're in a perfect spot. Things along those lines, and you go from, a situation where you're in, great shape, you have the best of it, you have a great line, a great number, and you end up losing, and losing for multiple, sometimes weeks on end. Yes, it's rare. I think if you're doing the right stuff, you're probably not going to have those big chunks of weeks, on end. But here and there, it's frustrating, when you're doing the right thing. So, that would be the other thing, is just dealing with the highs and lows is very, very difficult, especially, again, if you're at the point where you're trying to put food on the table too, and it's, it's a main deal for you. Can you go back the next time? Can you go back the next day or the next week and put your best foot forward and, give it 100% effort despite, the horrific beating you took last week? Because, again, come in with a clear mind and be focused. I think that's the toughest part. So to me, it's more the mental side than anything else.
Amen, brother. A PSA for avoiding being a sports gambler.
Yes.
All right, let's get into these. Let's get into this AFC North. We got a three-headed monster at the top. Everyone thinks that this team, that team, the other team is the favorites, but who in your mind is the team to beat here? The Ravens, the Steelers, the Browns, and maybe even the Bengals. I guess we'll throw them in.
I'm glad you guys started with these two divisions, especially the North, because I think it's the most intriguing division out of all of them, because we do have such a high quality. I mean, you could make an argument for the NFC West too, a lot of quality over there. But I mean, yeah, these three teams, are really strong. Yes, Cincinnati is still a work in progress, and I do think they're the clear number 4. No, that's not new news. I understand that, but to me, it's tough. I have Pittsburgh as the defunct, and I think pretty clear in my mind, number 3 team here. I know a lot of people are lumping Pittsburgh all the way in. They're the usual team. Mike Tomlin's got such a great coaching record. Fantastic coach, nothing against him. To me, everything that Pittsburgh is doing is going the opposite direction of wanting to win games this season. Not saying they're not going to be great in, the coming years. Who knows? I do not we're seeing from them at all, both on paper and on the field this season. So it comes down to Cleveland or Baltimore. And, again, it's hard to argue against Cleveland. I've never really been a big fan of Baker Mayfield and some of the things going on there. But everything is if you can run the ball and stop the run. I know it's not 1980. I get that. But they did that so well last year. They're in the top 5 in both of those categories. And they, I think, got better on offense. I think you can make a strong argument they're healthier and they're better on that offensive line. They're a number 1, number 2 rushing team in the NFL, and that defensive line is as good as it can be. And if Myles Garrett can stay healthy, man, it's a hard team to beat. I mean, how can you beat this team? They're going to be in every single game week in and week out. So again, if I have to take a pick, I haven't, made any of these bets yet. Usually I'm into the second, third week. I guess the third week is the last week of the preseason now, when I'll have all my bets finalized. But to me, Cleveland would be my pick right now. Although Baltimore, strong team. I like what Baltimore's doing a lot as well. But again, I think they lost too much in the offseason, especially those two they lost 2 big defensive players. I think that'll hurt them a little bit too much going forward. So my pick is Cleveland.
All right, so let me ask you this, though. Your pick is Cleveland. You talked about, the opposite directions of the Ravens and the Steelers here, but which quarterback do you trust the most in this division?
It's a good question, too. Well, again, it can't be a 39-year-old Ben Roethlisberger, who I think probably should have retired. Normally, that would be an easy answer because he's been trustworthy for, 16-plus years now in his career. But, as a trustworthy guy, especially if you can, talk about, not only running the ball, which I think a lot of these, quarterbacks besides Roethlisberger can do, but certainly with their arm and not making mistakes. I think it's definitely Baker Mayfield. Again, who is the best quarterback, whatever. Certainly I would choose Lamar Jackson. We're going to take everything into account, but a guy I'm going to trust who's not going to make mistakes, who had a really strong second half last year. is Baker Mayfield. And there's something else I wanted to bring up with Mayfield too. His numbers were down, I think, last year for a couple of reasons. One of them, weirdly enough, is weather related. So he played in two games where there was wind gusting of 45 miles an hour or more, and 2 or 3 other games where there's rain and there was just significantly poor weather. So Cleveland actually caught the bad end of some weather last year, and I do think Mayfield's numbers would be significantly better. So with better numbers, I think he'd be talked about more. It'd be more in the public eye. He'd have 30 touchdowns compared to what he had. So to me, I actually think that matters, sort of in the public perception. But again, when you don't have to rely on your arm strictly, and it can be such a run-based team, and you don't have to run it yourself like Lamar Jackson's going to have to do. I just like what he brings to the table there. And, we just don't know enough about Joe Burrow at this point. Certainly could be him either by next year or the latter part of this year if things go well. But I guess I'd go with Baker Mayfield if I had to choose for that question.
Yeah, that was the thing. Is the tough one because you're right. Baker Mayfield has shown 2 quality seasons, 1 step back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back. This feels like it can't be the step back year for Baker Mayfield. Lamar Jackson, what do we get? He can run for sure. Can he pass when need to? They built the offensive weapons at wide receiver for him, so I think there's no excuses there. And you know what? I still got love for the 39-year-old quarterback in Pittsburgh here, but to maybe do some things.
Hey Tony, first of all, I want to say I love you, man. Love your stuff. Cannot wait for the future endeavors with you two and whatever you choose to do. I have a question about the Steelers because I personally have them with fighting for the Browns as number 2. I do believe that the Ravens are, with their whole Lamar Jackson and Greg Roman time running out thing. Same thing happened with Colin Kaepernick where they kind of figured him out with the run stuff. With the Steelers, though, I love Najee Harris. And do you think, how low do you think that goes with a nice, decent young receiving core, a pretty good defense, Najee Harris? I mean, does Ben have to do much next year?
Well, I just don't think he stays on his feet, or no matter who the quarterback is. To me, based on my rankings, and I started out with offensive lines because I think it's one of the most underrated and important things. This might be the worst offensive line in the NFL. If not, it's sub 3 or 4. So they've lost a couple of guys, Villanueva to free agency, Pouncey to retirement, and the people that have brought in are definitely going to be significantly weaker. So in my aspect, it was a very poor offensive line last year overall. I know they had some injuries, but they were very poor last year, and they got significantly worse. So that's my issue. I have nothing against Najee Harris. He seems like a fine rookie candidate, especially the fact that if we get into the fantasy realm, I know all the fantasy guys are super jacked about him because he should step in right away into a featured back role. Like what we saw in Alabama, but we like what we see from every Alabama back, that starts and gets carries. So, it's exciting in its own right, but Najee's speed combined with his power, we see a lot of power backs from Alabama, over the years. Najee can run and he's shifty too. He is a legit guy in that sense. He does not get enough credit for his speed and shiftiness. His lateral movement's really, really good. I know he's a big guy, but it's really quite good. So again, I like him. I'm with you, Mike. I love the receiving core. I know we don't really have a clear guy, a clear, go-to dude, but I mean, there's 3 top-end guys there for sure. And James Washington is the best number 4 receiver I think that's ever played on a team. Right. I mean, this guy would be a perennial starter anywhere else. So I love the group there. Love the defense, certainly. I mean, the defense, no question about it. Loss of Bud Dupree is something, but obviously they're getting their core main guys back. Devin Bush should be healthy. So, yeah, I like all the aspects. I can't get behind a team that might have the absolute worst offensive line, and that's if they stay healthy. Everyone's pretty well picked over, on the free agent market at this point. I know there's still some trades kind of going on, but I think it's going to be tough. I mean, how is Ben going to play 16 games? That's my question. Does he play? Here's the question to you, Mike. If we set the line at 12.5 starts for Ben Roethlisberger, do you take the over or the under?
I think over just because there's 17 games.
Okay.
Maybe that number was a little bit higher, like 14.5. You might have me there.
Okay.
But I think it's close. But I do want to say I like your line. And you can't get behind a team if you're going to get sacked in the process, by the way.
I think it's tough. I'd like Pittsburgh a lot more if they were better in that sense. But I think everywhere else, strong, and we'll see what Najee is. It's hard to say. I know he only had 7 carries or so in the Hall of Fame game, and that's against a lot of backups and things like that. But it looks positive. It looks certainly positive. Although again, top end running backs, when they come into the league and they don't have quality lines, they're getting hit a lot in the backfield. It tends to be a career regression. There's not a lot of guys that have gotten past that. For every Barry Sanders, there's 15 other guys that fizzled out in 3 or 4 years. So we'll see. I'm hoping for the best for him, but we'll see.
Right.
All right, Tony, let's wrap up the AFC North here and give me who wins the division and if you have any player props for this AFC North here.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with Cleveland to win the division with a record of 12-4. I think it's going to be close, though, throughout. Even 11-5 might actually get this division, and the only reason for that, not just because it's not a good team, it's because I think these 3 teams can be really, really good. One of the things to note as well is that schedule strength has really shifted now. So Pittsburgh is going to play what might be the toughest schedule, and that's a lot because of their non-divisional games that they have to play too. So they have a few tougher non-divisional opponents on the road compared to some of the other teams in the division, besides having to play Baltimore twice and Cleveland twice. So I do think that will hurt Pittsburgh a little bit as well. I do not like their non-divisional schedule. But again, are they still going to win 10 games and be there? Probably. So to me, I got Cleveland at 12-4. I guess it would be, it'd be 13. 13, is it 13-4? 17 games. I'm sorry, 13-4. 13-4, probably 12 wins or so for Baltimore, and then Pittsburgh right behind there. And again, Cincinnati's a tough call. I don't know what I would do. Just because we're just so unsure. The quarterback position being so important. I don't know about Joe Burrow. Again, I like what we see, going forward. But again, we have a subpar defense over there in Cincinnati. We still have a pretty rough shot offensive line. And Joe Mixon is a guy that I think we've liked and a really talented back, and he's got great hands, but he's never really fit into the offense, and he's never really gotten going. He's never really had much over 4 yards of carry. We've never really seen him find his stride. So to me, it's too many question marks there. I don't know what we're going to get exactly from them. Soft schedule, though, really soft non-divisional schedule. So I think they should pick up some wins outside the division. But yeah, I can't see much more than that. In regards to props, Aaron, I've made a point to not make as many season-long player props. So I haven't really looked a lot of those. I will have more stuff. If you have me back on in a few weeks, I'll have as much as I have, as much as I can give you then, and I might have a few of those. But some of the things I would do, I wrote down an avoid list, an avoid and a go-to kind of list. So I would avoid any receiver from Cincinnati and Cleveland betting overs on these guys, especially weekly overs, because I'm just not sure what we have here. So I think there's a lot of good receivers in these groups, but nobody's a clear number one. There's no clear break. And also with Cleveland, we have not a lot of receptions. So Cleveland led the league last year in yards per catch at 14.9, but they were second to least in receptions. So, and I think that's the way Kevin Stefanski go. That's the way it was in Minnesota. That's the way it's been here. They're going to run the ball a lot. They like both backs. We know what's going to happen. So if you're not going to get any consistency with whether it's Beckham or Landry or Higgins, if it's Hooper, I guess, who might get some looks now at tight end, I just don't know where to go with. So when I watch things play out for 3 or 4 weeks, and then you can maybe make some decisions. But early on, I would avoid a lot of these guys for a lot of the props for both Cleveland and Cincinnati receiver wise. The one guy I would say I really, really like that I'm focusing on is Dobbins of Baltimore, the running back. I think there's a clear thought that he will be splitting time with Gus Edwards still, and I don't necessarily believe that's the case. Again, I like Gus Edwards. He's, I think, one of only 3 or 4 guys that have averaged 5 yards a carry for 3 straight years, which is kind of weird. But he's still a Mixon guy, and he's never going to be, anything more than I think not only just a Mixon, but not really much of a goal line back either. I think Dobbins is going to be the main back in the goal line. He's averaging 2 yards a carry more than Edwards is, within the 5 yard line. So I really think it's going to be Dobbins' case to lose here. He's the guy I'd be backing. And especially with his season that he had last year at 6 yards a carry on relatively good strength against some really good teams in the second half of the season, he was running really well against good defenses. That's the guy I'm looking towards. So I'm not sure what the numbers are for him season long or what we'll see weekly. J.K. Dobbins is my guy.
I love J.K. I want to
All right, Mike.
Go ahead. Last one.
Sorry, I'm a little winded. I apologize, guys.
I love it. Keep going.
All right, so we got about 2 minutes left in this segment, and we haven't gotten to the NFC North yet. So basically, I'm gonna basically just let you have 2 minutes to dissect and preview the NFC North, and let me know who wins.
I love it, Tony.
Got it. All right, clear winner here, I think, is Green Bay. We were waiting for the Aaron Rodgers thing and what would happen. Fiasco. Now that he's back, I know it's not on good. Don't really think it matters. The season that he had last year is not really able to replicate. We all know that. Everyone was healthy until the very end of the season, so that's fine. I absolutely love what happened at running back too. A.J. Dillon coming in, I think, is going to be masterful in the spot that he's at. Really perfect fit. I think he fits great. It'll be wonderful. Aaron Jones goes down. I don't think they miss a beat. Hopefully, he doesn't go down for extended time. But really like what we have with Green Bay. Again, we know that offensive line is great. As Bakhtiari looks like he's going to be back, ready to go. Very clearly, I think the best left tackle maybe in the entire NFL. So him coming back will be really, really big. It's a middle of the road defense, but again, they get to the quarterback. They got a pretty good pass rush. I just don't like anything else here. So I'll go really quickly through some of the other teams. Minnesota, the loss of Gary Kubiak, I think, as the coordinator is absolutely enormous. That was a top 5 offense last year. People don't realize how incredibly good that offense was. It's just they couldn't stop literally anybody doing anything on defense. And that was the name of the game for Minnesota. But they were fantastic on offense on both sides. So I like Irv Smith a lot as a breakout candidate, tight end there for Minnesota. I think he's going to be sort of the main guy. We'll see a little of Tyler Conklin mixed in, but I really like Irv Smith, I think, to emerge as really a premier tight end threat. I like Minnesota a lot, again, on offense. I'm not sure what Kubiak's son is going to be able to do, how much that offense is going to change, but he's not going to be a great play caller. Gary Kubiak's a masterful play caller. So Minnesota still, again, they should get better defensively because they can't really get worse, but they didn't improve that much. Patrick Peterson, again, not really going to move the needle all that much in my eyes. Chicago is still much a work in progress. They're grasping at straws here, trying to save jobs. How quickly will Justin Fields play? I don't know. My guess is by week 6, 7, 8, something like that. I have no idea what's going on in the quarterback situation, why they even signed Dalton, or why. Nothing makes any sense over there. Defense has gotten older. It looks a little bit weak. The loss at corner, I think, is enormous. I don't like what the Bears have going forward here. And Detroit, for lack of a better word, is a putrid, absolute mess this season. It's on purpose. They're trying to, set up for seasons to come. I get that. But Detroit, in like the Houston camp, is just playing for next year, and they're going to get absolutely throttled on a weekly basis against good teams. So to me, it's Green Bay and Green Bay alone. I think they win this division by a couple of games at least.
Well, I got to say, last year it didn't work out despite the 1-5 start we had.
I know.
I'm going to go back to the Minnesota well. I think a lot of pressure is going to be on Kirk Cousins this year with all of his vaccine comments. And so I'm going to take one last stab at Kirk Cousins saying F the world. And I think we might see some disarray in Green Bay. I know that rhymes, but I didn't mean to do that. So,
right.
Tony Johnson, formerly of the Vegas Squares podcast, going to have his new endeavors on YouTube, talking player props, talking sports gambling in a nutshell, mostly the NFL. As soon as he gets a YouTube channel up, we will have him back on again so he can promote that. Tony, again, appreciate the time. I know it's early. Trust me, I'm here in Vegas too. It's a sunrise morning show here, my friend. I appreciate you coming aboard.
All right. Thanks Mike, Tony. Aaron. Yep, good to have you guys. Good to talk to you guys.
Good morning.
Oh boy.
We don't have much time, Glenn. Aaron, I appreciate. Aaron, I loved having that guy on.
You know what? He's a full show in itself. Like, trust me, I loved the Vegas Squares golf podcast, football podcast with Tony because you know what? I didn't have to say much. This guy is just a brain full of knowledge on those kind of topics, and he's been surviving here in Vegas, just making sports bets. So, gentlemen, I'm out. You guys enjoy the last minute here. So, duty calls, I guess. So, happy Friday to everybody. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you on Monday.
Thank you, Aaron. Oh, love it, Glenn. What's going on, dude?
Nothing, Joe. I was just working on my business just now.
Yeah, $4 a month. GlennsProfessional.com. That's GLENNSPROFESS. I'm not going to spell it. That's on the screen. GlennsProfessional.com. Glenn is a one-time loser in the sports war. He's 1-1.
And so are you, knucklehead.
I know, right? I only got about a couple seconds here, Glenn. What's good on today's show, if you can make it quick here?
What's good on today's show? I'll be rambling about the New York Mets collapse at the first top of the hour of today's show and how their season's over, guaranteed against the Philadelphia Phillies. Also to mention the Atlanta Braves. We'll be talking about the AFC North, who's going to win that division. Is Eli Manning a Hall of Fame quarterback?
No.
Well, when does Justin Fields start for the Chicago Bears? Is it Trey Lance or Jimmy Garoppolo for the San Francisco 49ers in Week 1? And lastly, who's winning the NFC West?
I cannot wait for it. I wish we had more time, Glenn.
That's okay.
We had a great time for all of our guests here. Tony's back on. Maybe I shouldn't have done that to him. I didn't realize he hadn't logged off there. But hey, guys, it was fun. Thanks so much for everybody coming on the show. Thanks, Glenn. I will hand your L's on a silver platter.
Yeah, right. Get your L's ready on a silver platter. And nice shirt, by the way.
This thing is amazing. You fanatics hooked me up big time. Glenn, when's the last time you bought a jersey?
It's been so long. I think it's been a while.
Wow. All right, guys, we'll see you on the Sports War later on. Oh, boy, it's about that time. We'll be back at 1 o'clock Eastern. I'm sorry for going over to 12 on Sports, but I don't think anybody comes on after this. It's a Friday. Have a good one, Glenn.
See you later.
See you later, dude.
Hey, W.
Right. Oh, it was fun.